6:30 in the morning in Kenya. It's day one of our honeymoon, and you can feel the heat of the sun beaming down on us. We pulled up to a small row of bushes, and you could make out a male lion and 3 or 4 cubs rolling around in the grass. One by one, the cubs start to move out of the shade and into the sun. And everybody else in the Jeep started to scramble, get their cameras ready, started to get as high as they could to get the best vantage point. I stayed right where I was, got my camera as low as I could possibly get it, lined up the frame, and took my shot. Just as I pressed the shutter, the lion started to yawn. And it reminds me of the first time that Simba tries to roar in the cave with the hyenas. Now, that photo was the first photo that I ever really loved, and it's still my favorite photo today. There were 5 of us in that Jeep that morning. It was the same morning, the same Jeep, the same scene, but 5 completely different photos, 5 different stories. I didn't know it then, but that lesson is something that would change my life forever. From that moment on, I became obsessed with storytelling. I went back to my life and put all of my spare time into learning more. Everywhere I went, my camera came with me. I was learning, I was documenting, I was sharing, I was storytelling. I had a good career at that point, a proper one. I was a strong performer. I exceeded all my targets. I've been working in the same company for 14 years. I went back to my life and work. I couldn't stop thinking about Kenya, about the 5 photos, about the 5 other people in that Jeep. I felt disconnected from what I really wanted. It always came back to the morning in the Jeep. Everything came back to Simba. I was always waiting for what was next, talking about where do I want to be in 5 years' time, but what's next never arrived. And that was the moment, really, sat in those meetings, talking about the next 5 years, wondering, do I want to spend another 5-10 years here building something that I'm not truly brought into? Or do I want to give everything, and I mean everything, to something that I truly am passionate about? If I can make it 12 months, then this thing has legs. And that was it. That was the start of my journey into video production. I went all in, and it was the hardest thing that I've ever done. It started really slow, and there were moments where I genuinely thought I'd made a mistake. When it got to the lowest point, I kept looking back at that picture of that lion on that morning in Kenya, and I kept remembering the 4 other people in the Jeep, the 4 different perspectives, the 4 different stories. And I kept saying to myself, you just need to find your lane. You need to find your rhythm, tell your story, find your perspective. If you're going to do something, do it your way. Piece by piece, things started to click. I'd unlocked a system. And before I knew it, I was traveling the world, filming global conferences for some of the largest brands out there. I had a front row seat to some of the most sought after people on the planet. Leaders, thinkers, speakers, who people pay thousands to be in the same room of. And I was sitting there with a front row seat. Everything was incredible. I was in demand. I was traveling the world. I was winning awards. I finally had everything that I ever wanted. But there was a cost that I hadn't seen coming. Being my own boss gave me the freedom to relocate to Barcelona. But I spent the first year barely living there at all, traveling constantly, missing birthdays, missing the big moments, even missing the small moments. I was building something, but I was losing something more important. Something needed to change. During those years, I filmed hundreds of speakers, people who moved audiences to the brink of tears. I'd go home after the event and I'd search for these speakers to try and find something about them online, to try and learn more, hear more of what they have to say. I'd search LinkedIn, Instagram, I'd search Google. Most of the time, nothing. It's like they didn't exist outside of that room. And then came the changing point. There was one specific speaker. I will never forget him. He spoke about legacy. He spoke about showing up fully, about the difference between being a person or the person. Don't just be a speaker, be the speaker. Don't just be a husband, be the husband. Why exist when you can stand for something? If you're going to do something, do it to the best of your ability and be the best. I didn't wait to get home. I searched for him right there and then in the room, and I found him. Visible, consistent, fully present. He was the speaker. He was booked out. He was sought after. He is the standout speaker in his space. Right there, I started thinking about all of the other speakers who I'd searched for and couldn't find anywhere, said things just as powerful, but had no trail, no visibility, no way for anybody that wasn't in that room that day to find them or to hear their message. Same stage, same talent, different story. I've seen this before. Same Jeep, same lion, same scene, 5 different stories. The difference is never talent. The difference isn't what they say on the stage. It's what they do when they step off the stage that makes the difference. That's the one thing I couldn't let go of. I couldn't get out of my head. So now I work with speakers, the people already making a difference. I help them build what's missing off the stage so their story doesn't end when they walk off it. Because in the end, we all become stories. The only question is, who gets to hear yours?